you're listening to Beyond the Fourth Wall, an audio look at the visual arts in Denton, Texas, the home of happiness. Beyond the Fourth Wall streams live almost every Wednesday, high atop the historic Campus Theater in beautiful downtown Denton. I'm your host, Damon Wadico, and next to me is the co-host, Dennis Welch. Hello, Dennis.
Hello, Damon. It's great to be back.
Yeah, it's glad to have you back. It's been a little while.
Yeah. I had a little hiatus.
Yeah. How was the concert?
Plus, we had a couple of canceled shows.
Oh, we had one.
It seemed like thousands of
It
canceled
does.
shows.
I feel like we haven't done the show in a year. You know, your daughter sat in your seat last
Yes,
time.
and I heard that it went very well.
Oh, very well. In fact,
She's a natural.
yes, audience reaction was very, very positive.
Oh, I'm sure.
So you best be very careful about what concerts you select to go to.
I'm treading thin ice.
Anyway, the calendar, what do we got coming up?
What do we have coming up? We got Thin Line Film Festival coming up, and it opens next Wednesday, doesn't it?
Correct.
Yes.
February 12th to February 16th, and our guest today is Paul Meltzer, who is involved. Hello.
Hi, I'm involved in just about any way you can imagine. You know how it is with community-based groups. You kind of do all the jobs.
So this is, what is your title with the, do you have like a title with the organization?
Well, technically I'm vice president of the board or something like that, but that means you pick up the posters, climb the ladder to hang the marquee, and all those glamorous things.
Well, in case one of our listeners may not actually know, tell them a little bit about what Thin Line is. And it's a little different this year than it's been in past.
It's more than a film fest this
That's
year.
right.
It is. Well, first, for people who don't know what it ever was, this is like the 7th year. Thin Line Film Fest was Texas's only, certainly biggest, international documentary film festival. And this year, some folks don't know this, but there isn't a 35 Fest this year, which was a big music fest.
Right.
So Thin Line is making sure our needs culturally as a community are met. So we're expanding this year, and it's Thin Line Film and Music Fest. And it's going to be a lot of activity downtown because we're talking about 6 music venues and a total of 4 film venues all going on between February 12th and February 16th.
Wow.
It's going to be very, very busy. Yeah. And I'm hoping some people try to see every single thing, but it's technically impossible.
If somebody, how much is a pass if you want to, attend each day and as many shows as you can get in?
I was told there would be no math.
No.
I believe it's $150 for like everything.
And that gives you
all
full
access pass. And there are a lot of other good things that come with all access pass. Because like you can hang out at the green room with the filmmakers and the rock stars hang out, and we'll just fan you and treat you like a celebrity. And pass holders can take advantage of our Thin Line drivers who will convey you from venue to venue, be at your beck and call. No, like enclosed vehicles,
Wow.
which is nice when it's cold out.
Yeah, because it's really cold.
Yes. So pass holders, enjoy a good time, and it's always the best deal. If you want to go to individual events, it's $8 to see an outstanding, well-selected documentary. $15 gets you into a night of music, a music show, which is like 5 bands, and there's such a thing as an all-music pass or an all-film pass, and for a day, and then the passes for the whole thing drop in price as the festival goes on, taking into account that there's fewer and fewer days left, but it's always the best deal to get a pass.
Of course. Way to sell it.
Are the brochures out yet? With all the scheduling?
You can go online, even as we speak, to www.thinline.us. So, yes, that's what they use instead of paper now, but we're going to have the paper too. It actually just went on the press today, and you'll be seeing little stacks of very beautiful festival programs popping up all over town. Hopefully this weekend. But yeah, no, the website's awesome because you can also sort the films by topics. And if you want to see environmentally related films or just Texas films or LGBT or whatever's your thing, chances are there's something at Finline done very interestingly and thought-provokingly for you to watch.
Did you notice my T-shirt?
I just noticed it a moment ago.
It's very handsome.
Thin Line Film Fest T-shirt.
Everybody looks better in a Thin Line Film Fest T-shirt.
I agree.
think. Yes.
It's very slimming.
That's the thin part, yes.
I will do anything to support the arts, except actually get up and do anything. But I will wear the T-shirt for sure. So you've been involved with Thin Line how long? Not all 7 years.
No, I guess, I don't know, maybe 3 years now, something like that. I think this is my third festival. And my interest initially, as we discussed when we first met, Damon, was coming into town like so many people, seeing that beautiful fine arts theater right on the square, and finding out that, well, that's interesting that it's a Baptist church, which is
because
cool.
we don't have enough of those in this town.
And Baptists need a place to go. So no argument there. But at least during the Thin Line Film Fest, you can go to that great fine arts theater in addition to the beautiful campus theater, and see films on a tremendous screen and the kind of cool, thought-provoking stuff that you'd expect to find in a college town, which I hear this is.
Yeah, you would hardly know it sometimes, but no, we have a few Baptist churches, but not one art house in a town that has 2 universities. That is a little strange.
And many artists and filmmakers and all that.
And your dream at the time was to maybe start an art house here in town. So how's that going?
Well, really, it was how I became involved with Thin Line was looking for allies. And as part of my involvement with Thin Line, we ended up doing a fall series, which year before last we actually did in the form of monthly screenings right there at the Fine Arts Theater. We've been having monthly screenings in the fall at Dan's this year, and we're still plugging away at that goal of year-round offerings. But best way to help that come to fruition is come be part of the festival and enjoy that, and the resources that come in just are going to make us want to do more. We're a nonprofit. We're just here to make Denton cool.
Right, and I think you do. So, how many films, do you know offhand how many films are in the
I like that. Yeah, you're letting me off a little on the hard math.
Well,
yes. It's
a rough idea.
Roughly more than 50.
Now, does that include short films?
Includes shorts, but 25 features and several shorts blocks. And the features are outstanding. I get to view them each year and be part of the selection process. And they're getting just better and better. There's some that, well, everybody's got their favorites. There are many that I just, think, wow, like every single person should go see Goodness in Rwanda, and everybody should go see When We Were All Broncos. Have you heard about that one?
I was involved in that one actually, and I don't know.
Say more about that, would you?
Well, my part may be on the cutting room floor. I don't know, but it was filmed by an old friend of mine, David Barrow.
Barrow, that's a familiar name.
Yes, around this theater, it's very. They are related.
We graduated the same year in high school, and of course his brother Mike Barrow is the managing director of the Denton Community Theater.
Outstanding director, yes.
Yes.
And the film covers the whole period of integration in the Denton schools.
Yes.
I've heard there are already hundreds of tickets already sold. People really want to come to that one. But it's going to show at a special venue. That one is, rather than being at the campus theater, will be at a great big tent, warmed.
And that's the first night.
The first night on Wednesday, the 13th. The 12th, pardon me. That's the first night. See, I told you I didn't expect there to be math. But this big tent is going to be opposite Oak Street Draft House, seats up to 700, and I think we're going to sell out. I really do.
And I believe Brave Combo is
follows. Yeah, so that's kind of quite a crowd-pleasing evening.
You should have quite a full house for that.
I think that's a cool way to introduce yourself to the festival. Come see, the film everyone in Denton really wants to see, and the band that everyone in Denton loves, and that'll get you into the habit of coming out and enjoying like actual live entertainment and cool films with other people around you.
Dennis, so what did you do in this film?
Oh,
In case you didn't make the final cut.
well, I was involved in a couple of interviews.
Oh,
That's all.
yeah. So were you on the football team then?
No, I was not.
I find that hard to believe. Because the documentary, from what I understand, is based sort of about the football team, right?
Well, there's a great deal in there about the football team. They went to state that year.
Sounds like Rudy. You know the movie Rudy?
Oh, yeah. Vaguely, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
So and you know you can go in your imagination or in the film experience all the way from Denton in the 1960s to Antarctica to Coney Island. I'm just talking about just different things that are covered in these great films. There's a film called Pretty Brutal about roller derby queens. Women, I shouldn't say queens, but roller derby women in New Zealand. There's just all kinds of stuff. There's Unleashed, a dog dancing story, which is about for real, like very elaborately staged theater with dogs. With dogs and their trainers, with costumes and the whole thing.
I'd pay to see that.
I hope you will.
Sounds like animal cruelty to me, but
No, they seem to be enjoying it.
I'm sure they love it.
Yes.
So, this is a good time, though, for, I think, a documentary film festival. It seems like documentaries in the last few years have really taken off. Don't you think? You see this is like a renaissance of time for documentary filmmakers and documentaries?
There have been some, really outstanding documentaries as really for the last several years, and they're sometimes like the most outstanding films, that get noticed, right? I mean, you look at Michael Moore's films and Al Gore's film. It's people are realizing that there are just stories to be told.
There are definitely stories to
that
be told, and I think the fact that the technology has become more accessible to more people, it seems like more people are getting the chance to tell their stories in that form. Don't you think?
Yes, it's true, and we see it in the quality and the range of what gets admitted to us from all over the world and all over the country, because people in odd little pockets of life can share their world and do it very well.
Yeah, I find that when I'm at home, with the Netflix, looking for something to watch, I turn to documentaries more often than anything else. I mean,
why is that?
Huh?
And why is that?
Because they are better than
Oh no,
no. Yeah, they're better than narrative films.
Although it's an
Some
interesting thing that a lot of people don't know this. The reason our festival is called the Thin Line Festival comes from the founders' original insight that sometimes there's a thin line between truth and fiction.
I remember that point used to be stressed a bit more than it is now.
But it's kind of come back because we've always put in at least one where you don't know, is it a documentary, a mockumentary,
right?
Or a fakecumentary? And there's actually a little sequence within the festival this year we call Blurred Lines, and that's where we invite you to judge. Is it really a documentary?
Right.
And
you get a lot of that, being released in the mainstream too. A lot of the found footage films that seem to be so popular these days with the kids.
But I mean, for me personally, I like the fact that I'm going to really learn about people's real experiences. Just see what life is like in other walks. Also, we have stuff even for kids too this year.
I was going to ask if there were some.
We have that before. We in fact every year we try to have one free show. It's just to bring families with kids out and give them that experience. This year it's Wings of Life, which is a Disney film, and that's totally free. That's over at the Fine Arts Theater on the Saturday, 10:30 in the morning. That's a Disney nature film, supposed to be just incredibly beautifully shot. So
now, how does it work? I mean, how many films do you are submitted to Thin Line every year? How many do you have to watch and sit through and?
Well, I worked on the features, not the shorts, personally, and there were something like 150 films
Wow.
that we had to view. I should make it sound like a penalty or a
No, in
penance.
fact, it sounds
We
like
had
heaven
view
to
them.
me, actually.
It sounds like it, but they're not all enjoyable to watch.
Sure.
But ultimately from that, we cull down to get ones that we're really proud to invite people to leave their homes to come see.
When you mentioned that some of them may not all be necessarily a joy to watch,
Oh,
how do you always watch one all the way from the beginning to the bitter end, or can you get like 15 or 20 minutes into one and say, this is not very good?
Well, you got to figure if you're burying your face in your hands 10 minutes in, are you willing to do that to an audience?
Right.
Know? So you can. I mean, how good could it possibly be to make up for that? And there is the ability with the new technology, to kind of sample along the way. So yes, I will admit that I did not subject myself to every minute of every submission.
Okay, well, fair enough.
Don't blame you.
Exactly. So it chooses these,
Yeah.
and how many of you are there?
Oh my goodness, is this a
This is another
state
math
review
question.
board or? No, I don't know 100% for sure, but it's there's a programming committee and there's a bunch, and then ultimately their ratings get reviewed by the board. Many of the folks on the board, there's about 10 on the board, will also review films. It's a very collaborative process, but then at the very final stage, the festival director makes the final picks.
And that would be...
And that's Josh.
Josh Butler. Right.
Who's just an amazing person. He does
he's a dynamo.
Yes, he
Yeah.
does most of the jobs, and we all do our little bit and feel like we're chipping in, but he's really the muscle and the brains.
Does the committee, do they all sit in one room and screen them together, or do you watch them individually and then come back with a report? I'm just interested in the process.
How hard did you work on coming up with these questions before this interview?
I'm making this up as I go along.
Clearly.
Yes.
Yes. The fascinating process.
I'm the laziest man in radio.
Yes. Some come in a form where you can just click on them and watch them on computers.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're out of town and so on, as I often am, those are the ones I watch first.
Okay.
And some come in discs, and they get distributed. And we watch those. And then there's an online thing that we all put our ratings and comments into, and then the sort of committee does then actually meet in a room. And do you want to know what we have to eat and drink while we do it? Okay.
No, and here's the reason I find that process kind of interesting. I spent
It's
a
random
few
and unfair.
years-
Is that what you're trying to find out?
No.
It is.
Yeah, you turned down my film, by the way. No. I was on the play selection committee for Denton Community Theater here.
Oh, yes.
And I know
I worked on that too, yes.
how difficult it can be trying to choose just, 6 plays to
Yes.
fill out a season or
Especially
whatever.
when some
as
of the
do
people
you.
are wrong,
Yeah.
And there's often, sometimes, very heated discussion. And I'm wondering if anybody ever champions a film.
Oh,
and,
absolutely. And
know.
and it's there's kind of a funny phenomenon where we notice that whatever films you watch first, you think are awesome because you can't believe it. It's like, it's really a film.
Right.
A lot of times it has music, it has cuts, it has narrative. We're so impressed. So everybody's early ratings tend to be high. So whenever the film you don't agree with is rated high, you go, when did you watch it? We make an adjustment.
Okay. Well, obviously, these nitty-gritty questions here.
No, please. Let's see. You want to know how many seats there are in the theater?
That's fine, thanks.
Yeah, okay.
No more math. Except for how for instance, how long does it take to put the festival together? I mean, do you start watching new films as soon as it's over? I mean,
well, the call for submissions goes out in June, but
Okay.
I mean, the work on the festival, it's more or less year round. There's just surprisingly a lot to do.
oh, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
I've worked at the theater, and I know you've seen them work. You've been here
Yeah.
while that's going on, and it just seems like
It just
I'm always
never
amazed
stops.
how it gets together. And Josh is always, he's running around and
Oh, yeah.
being pulled in 500 different, and yet somehow it seems to always go off pretty smoothly.
That's the illusion.
That's-
As early as we start, there's always stuff just screaming in at the last minute, but somehow
Sure.
it does all get there. And we keep a nice, cool, professional exterior for everyone.
Well, considering, I mean, what a Herculean task it is to put just the film festival together, I'm kind of surprised you now put music into the mix.
Yes, our board
which-
felt the same way.
Wow.
But the great thing about Denton is there's such a collection of people who just want Denton to be cool. And the people who worked on 35 Fest, like, were heartbroken that wasn't happening this year. And for the most part, that group has come over and they're making Thin Line Film and Music Festival happen this year.
Right.
So, it's great to have all those resources working together. Such, professional, hardworking people.
Of course, some of us remember when Denton was cool. Remember that?
We remember when it was cool.
I think it's cool again. Don't
I
you?
do too. I do.
It, I mean, it really, I
This
think
town is always changing, but it's always interesting. It
I
really
remember
is.
when it was crap.
Now it's cool.
That's how old I am.
But it went from crap to cool to, like, cooled off to, like, kind
Now
of
it's
cool
heating up
again.
again.
I think,
Or
you know?
it's cooling off. Is it
Or
cooling off or
it's
heating up? I'm
up.
not
It's
sure.
heating up, becoming cool. Which, fortunately, we don't do physics either. So.
But you have like a different team now that kind of coordinates the music stuff, and then another team that coordinates the film stuff, or is it all one huge
To
pot?
some extent, the sort of 35 folks are a recognizable subgroup because they're so tight, work so well. But we're each, kind of cross-pollinating. I've got a counterpart. One of my hats is volunteer coordinator, so I've got a counterpart, Charlie Hunter, who works on coordinating volunteers from the music side. But we're working on the same website.
Sure.
And when we recruit folks, they can see all the opportunities. Plus, when people volunteer, which they love to do because they have a good time, if you volunteer working on a film, you can get a voucher that you can use to go see a music show, and vice versa. So, like, the music people may want to definitely show up and volunteer at film things because they can get their vouchers to go to music shows, and vice versa.
Well, I'm sure Jake knows that sometimes music people can be very unreliable, and
We have not observed that.
No, they're always very prompt
Yes.
and on time.
And have interesting jewelry in their body parts. I didn't curse, right? Yeah, we don't curse.
So there are also, like any film festival, there are prizes given.
Yes, there are.
And how does that work? I mean, a panel of judges or people vote?
I'm sure it will be selection, from within the board, and the festival director generally, as I say, gets the last say, and that's how you settle all those difficult discussions. You have to ultimately have an undemocratic,
Dictatorship.
yes, dictatorship.
Josh is your guy.
Yes, it's worked very well for us, and we trust his
In
judgment.
the past, you've also had the People's Choice Award, I think.
Yeah, very complex to do.
Yeah.
We're not actually doing that this year.
Oh, okay.
But we'll have the commissariat's choice,
Well, it seems like the festival now, I guess you can't call it a film festival, it's just Thin Line Festival or
Thin Line, film and music.
Film and Music Festival.
I hope it stays that way.
I've seen
I think
it
it's great.
grow, from its earliest years to it's really seems to be becoming kind of nationally known.
Yeah, I mean, we've had films that have been submitted to us that have gone on to Sundance and other festivals, and we get filmmakers who come here too, because they feel that they get better treatment than at some better known film festivals. Because when they come here, we really show them the town. We try to have things for them to do, and we give them the star treatment they deserve, which documentarians don't always get.
That's true. And I'm sure everybody's very gracious. No juicy stories of any,
No, I'm not telling.
Good, go. So, for you, I know you're a film buff. We had discussed that before.
I'm an eager watcher. I'm a fan.
Are you also a fan of local music as well?
Everybody's got their genres.
Sure.
And that's actually one of the cool things about this festival is that there are several genres that you can track over the course of the festival. So if you're a hip hop person, there's something for you every night, and techno, and there's also like a kind of rootsy bluegrass Texas swing kind of track, and there's a jazz track, and so yeah, that one works for me totally. And this is a great town to be in if you're a jazz lover.
Oh yeah, well yeah. UNT, big jazz school.
I've heard. Yes.
I'm sure you have. So you will have the festival will feature not just pop music or rock music. You will have several different genres represented.
Sweetwater's will be our jazz venue.
Oh, okay.
Actually, I should tell you the venues too, because this will all be happening like all the time.
I'm sure they'll
on February
appreciate
12th to
having the
16th.
plugs. too.
Yes, the plugs. So there's that big tent
Right.
opposite Oak Street Draft House. There's
And that's the
there's-
electric
that's the I neglected to say that's the Denton Municipal Electric tent.
There you
Yes,
go.
one of our major sponsors. But they're going to be at Dan's, at Haley's, at Rubber Gloves, at Sweetwater's, at Andy's, and the big old tent. So, and that's while the film's going on at Campus Theater, Fine Arts, and actually one day there's even a film over at the Women's Club. So it's a lot of activity.
It sounds like. So now that we've got all the thin line stuff out of the way,
What, my love life? What?
no, go ahead.
Not all of it.
Oh yeah, what did we forget?
I'm sure there's something we didn't cover, but I don't know what it would be.
Well, did I mention that presenting sponsors, the Denton Record Chronicle, for whom we are very, very appreciative. And I could list sponsors and advertisers, like
No, that's
totally
okay.
fill up whatever time you have.
We don't get a dime for that, so that's fine.
I think Damon was ready to move on.
No, I was curious. I heard that you. This is just interviewing you now, not as a
Oh, my
representative
goodness.
in line, but that you've got a burgeoning acting career, perhaps going.
I try to keep busy.
Uh-huh.
We split our time. My wife's a professor at UNT, and when she's not here, we go back to New York, where we're from. We've been 1.5 coastal for about 6 years now, and I do some TV shows when I'm in New York. I do a lot of independent films when I'm here.
Keep that accent going.
Absolutely. You can you can look me up on imdb.com now. By golly, I've even got credits. But yeah, I'm the most frequent guest on a show was called Mysteries at the Museum. Now it's Monumental Mystery. So you'll usually see me in a wig or a mustache or some recreate. I apparently look
It's like a historical
recreation.
reenactment.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I apparently
I
look
love
like
those
most
shows.
historical figures.
That's probably on Netflix. I'll look that up.
Well, you can just go to the Travel Channel's website and
I will do
and,
that.
You'll eventually see me.
Travel.
Yeah, those are on the Travel Channel. But I've been on other oddball shows
I'm gonna check
and
that
commercials. Actually, Julie was the only one. Julie of Campus Theater, who
Would this be Julie Brinker?
that would be Julie.
That's my Julie.
That would be your Julie. I wrote her
Hello,
to let her
sweetie.
know that I finally got a national commercial, but I couldn't say who. But I told her, people who know who this is. And she was the only one who correctly guessed I was on a BDO commercial.
A what?
Yeah.
I don't know.
See how well those commercials
I'm not
worked?
one that knows.
Yeah, people who don't know don't know. It's you see them on news shows. Anyway, it's the big consulting firm. So I did a commercial.
I'll look for that. I don't watch much commercial TV, so.
But if you do, just watch the commercials.
I will.
Yeah.
Well, listen, Paul, thank you very much. If you could give the Finline website out so people
Absolutely.
can look that up.
Yes, www.finline.us. And everything's there.
Great. Thanks so much for being here, especially since it was so last minute. And
Happy to.
Thank you, Paul, for helping make Denton cool.
Oh, wow. You're welcome.
if I knew you were coming, I would have had more questions prepared, but I just got you to come in
Good thing,
today.
too.
As always, thank you to DentonRadio.com. At DentonRadio.com, we support local, which is what we're doing today. And I'm your host, Damon Wadico. Join us next week with my co-host, Dennis Welch.
Yes, please come back and listen to us.
And as always, our email address is fourthwallradio@hotmail.com. If you have any shows coming up or anything involved in the arts in Denton, let us know and we'll get you on the show and cover it. And thanks again. And thanks again always to Jake Laughlin, our sound man. And that'll be it for this week. Join us next week for a very special, it's going to be a very special program.
Yes, who's going to be here?
Oh, it's a surprise.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait.
Yeah, they call this in professional radio teasing. They're teasing.
We're